Right, I'm sorry. Wow, this is loud. I'm sorry that after all this clean tech and nice software, I'm going to talk about of rubbish. And that is because we are doing recycling, and we are doing that with a microwave oven. So this is strange things to do with a microwave oven. Please do not try this at home. The idea is to turn that into that. And unfortunately, I don't mean Capri-Sun into Carlsberg. That would be a really good business model. The idea is to recover the aluminum from plastic aluminum laminates, materials that are used more and more in consumer packaging, pet food pouches, baby food pouches, etc., etc. These things are very good as packaging. They protect the food very well. They are very light. They are very cost-effective, but they are not recyclable until now. So the idea, what we can do, what the Enval process do, is to recover the aluminum that is inside these materials, reintroduce it into the aluminum supply chain, and get oil from the plastic that you can use for other things. So why are these things exploding? As I said, they are very good as packaging. They actually save a lot of resources from a holistic point of view. If you do a whole life cycle assessment, you end up much better than other things that are recyclable. However, in the eyes of the consumer, that really doesn't matter, simply because they don't know all those other things. They all know is that this thing goes to the black bin. So as a consequence, you end up with many tons of geographically distributed waste that currently goes to landfill. What we did is a process that was spun out from the University of Cambridge. Essentially, we can get industrial scrap, essentially all the materials that the companies produce while producing these things, or post-consumer waste that would go in the fullness of time to the recycling bin, to the separation plants that we call MRFs, material recycling facilities, for those that are not into the waste lingo, and then take them to the Enval plants, where we can extract clean aluminum ready to be reincorporated, as I said, into the aluminum supply chain. We can get hydrocarbon oils from the plastic that we can use as fuel or chemical feedstock, and we avoid landfill. Why do we want to do that? Well, there are only so many holes in the ground. There are many countries that are already mining landfills simply because of the resources that they are in there. And more importantly, there's a huge financial opportunity. Some numbers there. Essentially, Enval has the opportunity to put 700 machines in Europe to tackle the post-consumer waste directly at MRF. So we designed the technology that can be retrofitted in the back of a MRF in order to treat the waste that single MRF could separate there and then. That's a big opportunity, and that's exactly what we are aiming to do. What's our problem? The problem is that we are going against the waste handling sector. The waste handling sector is not exactly the most forward-looking sector. They are very, very conservative. Why? Because they've been burying stuff in the ground for 70 years. And believe you me, there are very few simpler operations than digging a hole and filling it up with rubbish. For these guys, high tech implies, let's buy a bigger JCB. We can push stuff faster, okay? We have to change that. And to their credit, some of them have started changing. Not all of them. But the point is that we need to go against that inertia of very big scales, because we were talking about landfills, and reluctancy to adopt new technologies. We have now a commercial scale plant, which helps, because now it's a matter of approaching our potential customers saying, here it is. You can come and hammer it if you want. It's producing aluminum. It is in Alconbury, which is north of Cambridge, south of Peterborough. Any investor that is interested, you can come and hammer it as well. It's running 16 hours a day, 5 days a week. In the fullness of time, the idea is that we will sell those units to the waste handling sector. They have a payback time of 4 years. They don't take more than 100 square meters to set up, and pretty much every MRF will have that space in the back. And there are obviously the environmental factors as well. We can produce aluminum that has a 65% reduction on carbon footprint comparing to primary aluminum. We reduce the carbon footprint of the packaging by 98% simply because we recover the aluminum that is a very energy intensive product in the first place. And obviously we avoid the need to landfill stuff. Who is this important for? Well, obviously us consumers, people that are interested in the environment, but also big brands. And what we have decided to do is to focus on trying to bring different stages of the supply chain together. And obviously, for the waste handlers, the fact that these things go to landfill is neither here nor there. They really don't care too much. However, for the guys that actually have a brand on the top, that really hurts, because it is their image of producing a material that is not recyclable. So to the point they care is that those names that you see there that are slightly larger than Enval paid for our first commercial plant in Alconbury. As a donation to Enval, it was not at a cost to our shareholders. It was not an equity investment. It was a pure donation. And with that, we managed to finance our first commercial plant. At the moment, we have a round of funding open. We are raising 5 million in 2 stages. We already have 300 of the first stage. And we are very happy to speak to investors that might be interested in this opportunity. That's a photo of aluminium, and I'll be around if anyone wants to talk to me. Thank you.